This woman writes, 1 weekend and he's already shaved his head bald. So he can't handle the pressure of the relationship, or what's going on? He's all stressed out. I don't know. I'm kind of laughing at it as well because it's like, well, I got my head shaved, but it's really it's really to convey the message that it's like, well, it's not really about being prissy or about really approval seeking. It's more just about like, hey, this is me. I'm a man, and I'm not in basically that realm of look how pretty I am. And it's just a common thing you'll see about with other like relationship guys. Um, so that's really kind of just the culture of it, having kind of a shaved head. And you'll also notice that that's kind of like an emerging trend as far as people shaving their head. But I don't know, it just seems to communicate more of like a masculine presence when you have short hair versus long hair. I had long hair that could even like be ponytailed like down like here when I was doing sports and stuff. But just like the difference is definitely um, you're perceived more as like a masculine person when you have short hair. So that's probably the benefit of it. As far as like long hair, sometimes it's like women will approach you if you have long hair, and so it's like sometimes have an advantage of like the pickup stage. Um, but it's like either way, it's like really just how you act. Doesn't really matter too much, like with your hairstyle or whatever, unless you're using it and basically putting a bunch of like hairspray and mousse and making this like whole fancy thing and having to be perfect and basically conveying yourself as like this prissy kind of attitude that can get basically in your way because it's more of like a feminine quality versus a masculine, hey, I'm here for a purpose, not to look pretty kind of deal. So I don't know why he shaved his head. Some people do it because they're stressed out and they freaking have a mental breakdown. Um, but let's see where this guy's coming from. 1 weekend. It does make you wonder though. It's like, so if that does happen, it's like a drastic change. It's like, well, what the heck's happened with this guy? What's going on in his mind for him to do that? So she's 24. She says, me and my boyfriend, who's 26, met on Hinge during the pandemic. Initially, things were going well. The only issue was he never wanted to FaceTime. So he's maybe insecure about his looks. Who knows? I was okay with this because I actually wanted to get to know him as a person. Eventually, we met up and he looked good, so there wasn't a problem. He asked me to be his girlfriend on the first date. Bro, totally inexperienced. This guy is probably very insecure, and just doesn't have any kind of knowledge, hasn't been through those products I've got right there, and doesn't know basically the foundation on really how to act in a relationship. And there's a total progression to this, and he's totally skipping all these steps, going way too fast. I said no, but eventually I gave in after a few dates and we came official. That's way too soon, dude. He's rushing into this. It's really an uncomfortable situation for her. On a weekend away, I noticed he didn't really have nice going out clothes. So he might not be taking care of himself very well. So sometimes like guys in this like kind of nice guy archetype, sometimes they don't really know how to lead a relationship. And oftentimes that same archetype, they don't necessarily take care of themselves. They put themselves second to another person. So they're always givers. And sometimes that has its benefits and places for sure, but it's like when you do that, you don't take care of yourself, it's like eventually you're running out of things to give. And oftentimes you get into these like covert contracts, meaning like these trades. You're trying to trade, I'll buy you dinner if you are my girlfriend, or like just trade things, or I'll compliment you and I'll give you gifts if you have sex with me, or if you kiss me, or if you like me, kind of deal. And it's like if you get in that mindset, that equation mindset, you're totally in your head, and it's totally unnatural, makes the other person feel uncomfortable, feel pressured, and it rarely works, unless the person's really just out to get your money or to get whatever you've got. And so it's like you can't really sustain a relationship for the long term when you're basically trying to trade your way for her to like you. I offered to pick out some outfits for him to buy so we can look good together. So what is she doing? She's hinting. She's, instead of saying like a guy would say to another guy, "Hey dude, you look like shit," or "What the fuck kind of like shirt is that?" or something like that. Total straightforward. Now what she's doing um, is she's like hinting, hey, it'd be really cool if we had like similar outfits, and she's hinting that, hey, you got to step your game up because you don't look that good, man. Just a different communication style with men and women. uh, okay, my boyfriend is an engineer, so money wasn't the issue. He said to me that this was because he didn't care much about appearances. Still, you want to make the effort. It's like, yeah, you can basically not care much about experiences, kind of what I was talking about with like the shaved head kind of thing. But still, it's like it's important to take care of yourself and put the effort into your wardrobe. Not necessarily like, oh, I have to have the fanciest things, but at least just like a nice, clean shirt. That's just kind of can be totally basic, but it's like high quality. It's not really like showboaty. Doesn't have to be showboaty or this huge extravagant thing, but just like clean, simple usually, and high quality. Hmm. Effort. He was reluctant about this. I felt like I was forcing him, so I dropped it. Fast forward a week, and he FaceTimed me to tell me he shaved his head bald. It looks awful, and together with his bad dress sense, I feel is too much for our new relationship. I'm not shallow. I completely understand looks aren't everything, but is it bad to want someone to make an effort to look good for their new girlfriend? Yeah, because she doesn't want to be embarrassed too. So it's like when you go out in public, she wants to be like proud of being with you, and she wants to kind of be. That's exactly it. Be proud of being with you, and not like, oh, I'm embarrassed because everyone's like giving my boyfriend a bunch of looks, and this guy looks like he's off the street or he looks like a criminal because he's got his head shaved and he's got this shitty shirt on and shitty shoes and pants, and it's kind of an uncomfortable situation for her, and so it is important to take care of yourself. Should I leave or is there a way around this? Well, bluntly tell him, hey, this isn't working for me. I'm not attracted to you when you don't wear nice clothes. It's like, I don't want to say like, hey, you're bad. It's like, I recognize that, there's more to it than looks, but it's like, I really need you to put more effort into your clothes. You got to be straightforward with guys sometimes because oftentimes guys don't pick up on your hints. And so he might be thinking that you had some other whatever motive or didn't even think about it at all when you were hinting that, hey, we should have like similar outfits so we can look together. It's like you need to basically tell him step by step, hey, because you don't dress very good, I'm not attracted to you. And I'm even considering leaving. And so it's like, oh, he's like, oh, okay, now I understand. It's like, oh, yeah, no problem. It's like, I'll just go down to the store and get all this stuff and it'll be done. So take that approach, basically bullet point, think like bullet point, straightforward. That's really how you need to communicate to him. And when you do that, then he can understand it and then he can adjust accordingly. Again, guys don't often, don't all the time pick up on women's hints. I like him as a person, but now I feel like I'm dating Kailu. I don't know what that is. Please be nice. Yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd say put it in a bullet point like format that's just like, hey, this is not working. This is what I want. And I'm not being attracted to you because of it. That straightforward, that upfront, that blunt. And if you can do that, he's probably not going to take it offensively. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I'll change. That's fine. He's probably not going to make a big deal out of it. So take that approach. If he doesn't change, then it's like you consider leaving. But for sure, take that communication step first.